The modernization of the data center is an ongoing topic, but never before has been so exciting to talk about it. A company modernizing data centers across the entire world is Schneider Electric, and joining me now is Dave Johnson, CEO of the IT business division at Schneider Electric. Dave, thanks a lot for talking to me. When it comes to the modernization of the data center, what would you say are the main three trends that you're seeing right now?
So for me, when we think about modernization of data centers, we're typically talking about enterprise data centers. And what's been happening over the last, 3 to 5 years is companies have been moving their workloads to either co-location or to the cloud, and they've got something left over, right? So they're upgrading that. And we've had a lot of activity in that space, modernizing the hardware, digitizing how we do things in those remaining spaces. Interesting now, as we're seeing this co-location has been around so long now, is that we're seeing these aging co-location facilities and we're having to modernize them. And so one of the themes that when we see modernization is absolutely digitization. Okay. So instead of doing things the way we used to, when we do all the upgrades, we take that opportunity to do it in a more intelligent way, in a digital way.
Which comes down to software.
Mostly,
okay.
but it's also about simplifying what we do with people and process as well.
Okay, and in terms of legacy infrastructure, for example, what's been the worst you've seen out there? What's the challenges with the legacy infrastructure at the moment?
Well, the worst thing I've seen in the
no
worst
need
thing
for names.
well, if you just sort of get a visual of a room that used to be full, and now you've taken workloads out and moved them around. You see you see the leftover bits and pieces. You see a lot of chaos. You see visually, you're going to see older systems. You're going to see cabling issues. You're going to see a lot of inefficiencies in the cooling, and you're probably in an overkill mode in terms of the sort of the power distribution in these facilities, right? You've got these reduced needs, and it should be really simplified. So we see when companies are sort of using the same spaces they were using before, the same physical spaces, and they're modernizing, you can see some problems.
Okay. In terms of rates of efficiency, how much do you improve with Schneider Solutions? How much do you improve the efficiency of a data center you just modernize, for example? I know it depends on the size and the customer, but is there a value that you could share?
Well, it's typically a minimum of 30%.
Okay.
Minimum. Okay, because
which can represent millions.
Yeah. Millions, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in terms of technology, how will AI transform the data center? What are you doing in the AI space?
So I think we're in the early stages of AI in the data center. You're seeing the things you're starting to see already are preventative maintenance approach rather than scheduled maintenance. So it's sort of step one in the evolution. So just like there's TV commercials out there now for elevator companies, right? And you'll see the TV commercial of the elevator repairman showing up a day before the elevator fails. It's perfectly analogous to what's going to happen in the data center. We're already seeing people showing up just before you're seeing a failure, and that's coming from sort of the early versions of AI, being able to study through artificially through machines, so study what's going on in the data center with the data that we're getting these insights and taking action before things happen. This is already happening, and it's exciting because we're at the beginning. But eventually, we talked at the conference this morning. We talked about in some of the sessions about the future of the IQ of machines, and eventually you're going to have. Today we have people looking at data, looking with some tools and looking at it, but you're going to have insights we can't even imagine in the coming years.
Okay. And Schneider has been doing some investments around that sort of area as well, especially with EcoStruxure. What can we expect from you, from the IT division?
Well, I think you should expect that we lead the way here in the data center field. I mean, this is our at the conference today in our presentations. Most of the focus is around software and having that software be offered in a cloud-based format. So we're starting to shift all of our software to be cloud-based offers that can be scaled, that can be simple to install in an architecture where we can look at data from many customers and gain insights that we can take action on for specific customers, but still you get that leverage that you get from from looking at lots and lots of data.
Okay, and one final question. We are Data Cloud 2018. In 12 months' time, Data Cloud 2019. What question have you got now that you want to see answered in 12 months?
For me, so this may be an unusual answer, but for me, I want to see what the role of the edge will be.
Okay.
So we talk, we're starting to hint around what the future might be for edge. We've talked about use cases today. We're very much talking about it in a, I would say, a fuzzy way right now.
Okay.
I'd like to see a lot more clarity around the edge next year.
How would Schneider define the edge, just quickly?
Oh wow, that's a tough one. So we would say anything, honestly one of the best definitions I've seen is anything outside of the, this is actually an infrastructure mason's definition, so I won't steal it, but or I'll steal it for a moment, but it's anything outside of these big hyperscale cloud data centers. So the first thing you would see outside of a large hyperscale data center is a regional data center. But that's going to go all the way down to a a gateway in a home or a small business, and everything in between for me is the edge.
Okay, Dave, thanks a lot for talking to me.
My pleasure.
Don't forget you can follow Data Economy on Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn, and also visit the website on www.data-economy.com.